for joining me for the show today, bitches. Thanks for joining me for the show today, hoes. Thanks for joining me today. Just fucking around. What's up, everybody? I'm Collin Key. Episode 4 of the I Hate Tipping podcast begins now. Thanks as always for joining me. I'm always happy to have you back. I do hate tipping, but today I'm already having a jam-packed fucking episode with fucking 88 cards worth of shit that I want to talk about. So we'll it's coming soon, promise. Thanks for tuning in. Please tune to iTunes and give me a 5-star rating so we can grow. And with that, let's start the show. As soon as this fucking music ends. All right. So, the email for the show just a heads up. Today's episode is not sponsored by, but brought to you in part by Elysian Space Dust IPA. Elysian is in my top 3. My other faves are going to be like, excuse me, Stone IPA, I think, and Mad Hatter, and what was that other one? Headhunters. Fucking Headhunters is crazy. That's just so strong. It only comes in 4-packs. So yeah, the email is ihatetipping@aol.com. Comments, questions, suggestions, hit me up. Make sure you mention that you follow the show and that you would like some free swag. And as soon as I get some in, I will be picking random emails from random listeners, and I'll be sending out some t-shirts and some ink pens and some other shit that is show and or book related. Speaking of the book is called, does everybody remember? These Ones Are Mine. Everybody has stories, but these ones are mine. That was the reason I came up with that title. It's all true stories. It's gambling stories and psycho girlfriend stories and stories about being in the middle of drug busts and stripper stories and stinky pussy stories and stories about being covered in human poop and all kinds of stories, and they're all true. And they're all pretty wild. And there's a little, might be some heartwarming shit in there too. I don't know. I don't remember. But I know people who read it say they like it. Actually, I just got a text from an old Air Force buddy of mine who was enjoying the chapter on the worst jobs that I've had. That was a school bus driver. That was one of the worst jobs I've ever had in my life. And I didn't even know it, but he was a school bus driver too. And he just literally texted me 5 minutes ago and said, "Dude, I'm reading this and your school bus stories, he said that he can dig it because he went through this similar shit." And yeah, so pick up the book. It's on Amazon and Kindle, please. Please spread the word about the show and the book to your friends on social media. Speaking of social media, I'm on Facebook, Collin Key. It's you'll see a picture of the face that's on in front of my book. It's like a photoshopped version of my face for anonymity, but you can't miss it. Collin Key, Facebook. So a couple of notes from last episode, episode 3. Whenever I did the all-time champion beauty segment, that episode's champion beauty, who was Scarlett Johansson, and one thing that I wanted to mention, I had written down, but I forgot to. It was just that I love the name Scarlett. It's my all-time favorite female name for a female in the world ever. Scarlett is just like, that's just gorgeous. It's just a gorgeous name. And it's actually, the only names that I like better than that name are like foreign names like Veronique and Paola and stuff like that they're not even English. So, but the word Scarlett for a name, that's hot. And also a note about Xbox One from the first episode, I believe. Something that I wanted to say but forgot to say was, they're coming out with Project Scorpio or whatever this year or next year or whatever. I really hope they get rid of this fucking AA battery bullshit. Like, what the fuck is that? Why everybody else, all the other shit has rechargeable controllers. and they just come with 2 AAs. And I just went through it like 3 times where the controller batteries died. I'm like, what the fuck? And then you got to go to the store and buy what is it? I don't know how much it costs. It's not that much, but the little battery pack to go in there. It's already got the controller already has a micro USB thing for it. So it's ready to be rechargeable, but they just don't give that to you, so that you have to go to Target or somewhere and buy one. What the fuck is that? Just put it in there, and I don't care. Add $7 to the price of the thing, or 20 or whatever it is. I don't want to spend another. I don't want the trip to Target. I don't want the inconvenience. Put it in there, bitches. Anyway, I did that. Oh shit, did I do that? Nope. See, that's why you got to have notes. I forgot to start my backup recording on my phone. Started now. Another swig of my Elysian Space Dust IPA. This shit is good. I like strong IPAs that have like a real citrusy flavor, and this has like just the right that grapefruit IPA flavor. I love it. This shit is bomb. This and Mad Hatter IPA and Headhunters. Those are my 3 faves at the moment. But there's so many, and I'm constantly trying new ones. What did we have last night? Some Space Dog or Blood Orange IPA. Me and my brother got a 12-pack of like a variety pack of something. I don't know. But IPAs are the shit. But the problem with the IPAs is they're so strong, and it's like a head high. And I don't even realize how fucking drunk I am. You drink 4 of these and you have a great buzz, and you usually don't even realize it because like your balance and all that is fine. But like in the head, I'm sure that my words are slurred and shit once I have 4, but you don't even notice it. But they just taste so fucking good. Wake up the next day kind of fucking. It's a little hard to get moving in the morning, but it's not like hangover. It's just these things are heavy. Anyway. That's delicious. All right, let's get right into it. So, true story. Actually, 3 quick short stories, or excuse me, 3 quick true stories, 3 short, quick true stories, and then 1 longer one. I don't know why these all just popped on my index card today, so fuck it. Number 1, years ago, I was at work on my work truck, and I went to a gas station, and I went inside, and I got whatever I wanted. I don't know what I wanted, some chips and a drink or something. I don't know. And then I went in line, and then as I was on my way to get in line to go pay for my shit, I walked past this cute chick, and when we walked past each other, I was like, damn, and I turned and looked at her. I don't think she looked back at me, but she kept moving. I looked real quick, and then I was like, oh, she's hot, and went and jumped in line. And then I turned around to see if she was still back there just to get a better look. And whenever I turned around, she was there. She was in the aisle with the candy bars, I think. And then she moved over to the pop aisle and was like getting self-serve soda, whatever the fuck, fountain drink. And I just looked at her. I was like, damn, yeah, she looks good. Whatever. But then, I turned around and was fucking getting ready to pay for my shit and forgot about it that quick. I wasn't going to talk to her, and I was in my work clothes and driving a work truck, and, I wasn't like, I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it right then to try to holler at anybody. But then like a minute later, the chick tapped me on my shoulder, and I turned around, and I was like, oh, hey, what's up? And she said, were you checking me out a minute ago? And I just smiled and laughed. I said, yeah. And she said, good, because I was checking you out too, and you know what, you're cute. And I was like, oh. And she said, did you want my number? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, okay. So I pulled out my phone and I took down her number, and then as I was leaving, did she say something else? I think that's all that matters from the story. But excuse me. And then I walked out, and as I was walking, she caught up to me, or she was walking behind me, and she said, yeah, hit me up or something. And I said, okay. And then as we were walking, a car, whoever she was with, which was 2 other females, pulled up in the car to pick her up, and she got in, and I was climbing into my work truck, and they pulled the car in front of my work truck and was saying something. So I got back out and I walked over to the driver who called me over, and she said, "Excuse me." I was like, "Yeah." And she said, "Damn, she wasn't lying. You are cute as hell." I just started laughing. I said, "Okay, thank you." And she said, "Here, take my number too, just in case it don't work out between y'all." I found that to be funny as fuck. But hold on, that's not why I told that story. So fast forward to like a week ago, I was driving up a steep hill going home, and I saw this chick lugging all kind of bags walking up the hill that I was driving up, and I stopped and asked her if she wanted to ride, and she said yes, please. And she got in with all her shit. Just get used to the burps, people. It's human. We're humans. We have, it's space dust IPA. What do you want? Excuse me. I'm almost over my cold, by the way, so hopefully voice 100% by next episode. Where was that? Oh yeah, so I picked up this chick who was walking up the hill. She jumped in and immediately started saying, she was like, "Yeah, damn, I thought I was going to get arrested and they was going to find my weed." And I was like, "Huh?" Oh. And I mean, hey, it ain't no big deal to me, but I just thought it was pretty fucking like forward of her to assume that it was safe to talk about weed, openly like that. And I was like, yeah, but I mean, it was cool, but I'm just saying. She said, "Yeah, I'm on my way I got to go to my second job now. I got to go strip tonight." I was like, "Oh shit." You're a stripper?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "Where?" And she told me. And then she said, "Yeah, I go to work and I do it from this hour to this hour, and then when I get off, then I go do that from this hour to that hour, and then I come home and I don't get no sleep." And damn, I was like, "Oh shit, yeah." So we talked a little bit, and then I pulled up to where I was dropping her off, and I said, "All right." She said, "Thank you, sir, so much." Oh, blah blah blah. And then she said, "What is your name?" And I said, "Collin." And I said, "What is your name?" And she said, "Reese Cups," or whatever her name was, stripper name. Or no, her name was like Michelle, but they call me Sweet Reese's or Reese's Pieces or whatever. Fucking Twizzlers. I don't know. And but she was cool. I'm not talking shit on her, but she was cool. But anyway, and she said Twizzlers, and then she said blank blank blank. It's just 555 552 5855. It just threw her number, and I was like, "Damn, okay, hold on." And I pulled up my phone and I took down a number. I said, "All right, thank you." She said, "Yeah, hopefully we can do breakfast or lunch or something." I was like, "Okay." So the point of those two stories, I put those together, was that those are the only times in my life when females have just approached me and just like tried to holler at me like dudes holler at with females. And I just thought that was so dope. Like I love that so much. The role reversal. Like I don't think the average female realizes how fucking like your pride is on the line a lot of the time when you try to holler at a female. Like it's heavy. Like unless you're like a player. If you're a player, if a dude is a player who just basically professionally hunts women all the time, they're not even emotionally attached to it. They'll just throw out their little whatever to see if it works, and if it works, fine. If not, they move on to the next one. I'm not that dude. If I'm going after a female, then I like her, and there's something behind it. So if every time I get shot down, it's a part of life, but whatever, it hurts a little bit, like every time. And I don't think a lot of females know what that's like. Like I've heard dudes say this a lot, and I've heard females respond to it, but I don't think the average girl gets this. 99.99999% of females can just walk outside and get with somebody anytime they want. You can just go anywhere, smile at the first 10 the first 10 dudes you see, or females, whatever. Well, I don't know how it is for lesbos, but excuse me, dykes. What? Girl on girl. Sorry for not being appropriate. I don't know what the terms and shit, but I'm not trying to be an asshole. Lesbians. I don't know how it is with lesbians, but dude on girl, girl on dude if a female wants a dude, like just not maybe a specific dude, but just a dude, like we could to fill that void for a while, she can get it immediately, no problem. No work involved. Go out, smile, just respond to the first couple dudes who come at you, and whichever one is the least gross, then hey, just wear protection when you fuck, and you can at least get that void filled. For a dude, we have to go and, like Patrice O'Neal, the comedian, said, I have to go and get you, and that is an investment. It's a big thing, and so I don't think most females appreciate it. So all I'm trying to say is, I thought that was the shit when those two girls came at me the way that they did. Thank you, ladies. It made me feel good. And so yeah, ladies, be more forward with dudes. If you like a dude, let's change the game up a little bit. Don't always wait for dudes to come after you. If there's a dude you like, go for it. I know I like it. I can't speak for everybody, but I think that's a good thing. Okay, and then the third short story that I wanted to mention or tell real quick was I went in Walmart at like, I don't know, when I got off work at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning the other day, and I couldn't find what I was looking for, and one of the night stock women was in there, and I stopped and asked her to where the extension cords were or whatever it was. And she was kneeling down, putting shit on the shelf, and she stood up and she was like, "Oh, follow me." And as I walked behind her, she had like extreme armpit smell. It was that kind of armpit smell for like people who don't wear deodorant on purpose, like because they think it's bad for your health or whatever. It was that, because I've been around like other dudes and shit like that who they just don't believe in it. It was that kind of a smell. Like it wasn't like she was dirty. Like she didn't look like she lived in the street or nothing, but she just obviously was not wearing deodorant and was working hard, and it stunk strongly, and it turned me on. It was pure animal business right there. I had a half a chub in my jeans just based off of that woman's armpit odor, and it was just pure stank. And it was animal. I guess there's pheromones and human perfumes and whatever involved in that. And that shit works. I was thinking about her for a minute. I was like, oh, she's all right. She looks all right. She stinks a little bit, but damn, yeah, I'd hit that. It definitely, if they put that shit in perfumes, I think they have that already. It's weird that I haven't heard like all kind of rants and raves about the shit, but I can say for a fact that pheromones or whatever is in a female's armpit stench works. It turns me on, because she honestly wasn't hot, but that smell made me want to fuck her. And all right, I wanted to talk about credit real quick. What's your credit score like? Email me, hit me up. You don't have to tell me your credit score, but have you ever had any credit problems? Just hit me up and say amen. Credit problems. I don't give a shit. What, I don't know. Talk about it. Let's talk. Let's have some dialogue. I remember when I was like 18 or whatever, I got my first charge card, and I remember intentionally. I think I had a $100 limit, 100, and it was for some department store. They gave me $100, and I remember thinking to myself, I'm gonna spend this $100 and never pay this. They just gave me like my thinking was, yeah, these assholes just gave me free money, and I went and bought whatever socks and some underwear or whatever, and ran up that $100, and I never paid it. I don't know why I did that. Chalk it up to the ignorance of youth, but it was some super stupid shit. And going on from there, I proceeded to get a car repossessed, and just basically just put my whole credit right into the fucking gutter as fast as I could, and it stayed that way for, let's see, from when I was 18 till probably 30. I was 25, close to 30, something like that. Let's say late 20s. My credit was, if there was a zero, I was at a zero. It was fucking horrible. So with that, I had just kind of, like I would see people with new cars and shit, and I would be like, damn, how as I had never had a new car, but I had got financed for a used car and some other shit. And then it started eating at me like, I need to fix my credit. But I just wasn't making much money and whatever. So what happened was I was at work at the home improvement warehouse that I worked at. And there was a message over the loudspeaker, and it said, Collin, you have a phone call, which was weird because that had never happened to me in the 4 years, whatever, that I worked there. Like, they didn't page me. Like, I was a manager. I had my own phone. They would have just called me. And I don't know. The whole thing just was weird. But anyway, they paged me and said, you have a phone call. And I was like, okay. And I picked up my phone and was like, hello. And the dude was like, Collin? I said, yeah. And he said, oh, this is Jim Smith from student loans. I was like, oh, shit. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, I just want to let you know we're taking a percentage of your paychecks from now on. I was like, what? He said, yeah, 30%. And I said, what? And he said, we, the U.S. government, are taking 30% of your paychecks from this day forward. And I was like, what do you mean this day forward? And he says, until your loans are paid back. And at that time, I think I had $30-something thousand in student loans. And I said, whoa, I'm only making nothing, and I can't afford to give you 30% of nothing. Like, I'm barely getting by as it is. Like, I was a manager, but it was a shitty job. I wasn't making nothing. And he's just like, oh, what do you want me to do? We've been sending you letters for 6 years. We've been sending phone calls and leaving voicemails and every single way that there is to get in touch with somebody on multiple phone numbers. And we've even called your mother and other references and shit. And you have never responded. And I was like, well, dude, please. And I begged and pleaded. And so the story doesn't go too long. In the end, I had to make a deal with them because my student loans were way in the red on top of the rest of my credit being shit. I made a deal with them to pay, I don't know, $150 a week or whatever it was for a year or something, just to get me out of the red. And he said, if you do that and you never are late or miss a payment, then I'll take you out of the red and I'll put you back in the green, and then you can get a normal payment. And I said, okay, cool. And I did it. And not only did I do that because they scared the shit out of me, but since I was already losing that much of my paycheck, I just said fuck it and started devoting most of every paycheck to paying off my credit. I went and got my credit report done, and it lists everybody that you owe. And I went through them one by one and called them and said, okay, I'm going to pay this off. What can we make a deal? Blah, blah, blah. Or will you accept this much every week or every 2 weeks or whatever it was? And I worked through as many of them as I could over a year, and I did nothing. I went to work and I paid bills for a year. I came home and watched TV. Like, I didn't go out. I don't think I drank or anything. I didn't have any extra money to do shit. Shit. Excuse me. At the end of the year, once that year was over, I was so used to that. And then I just was, I had switched jobs and everything. And then one day it just hit me like, fuck, I've been doing this shit for over a year now. Let me see what my credit's like. And I called and I was like, I need a new truck. I was driving a piece of shit. So I figured my credit had to be decent by then. I called a Ford dealership and I said, hey, can you tell me if I qualify or not over the phone? He said, yeah, give me your information. I gave him my information. And he put me on hold for 2 minutes, and he came back and said, come down and pick your truck. That was the best feeling. That day, I went down to the dealership and came home with a brand new truck, brand new F-150. It took a solid year of working on my credit, and then I got it done. And since then, I've tried hard to keep my credit decent. I fucked up a few times. I started my own business and shit, and I opened a bunch of credit cards to start the business. And it didn't work out, and I ended up owing all this money, and I fucked up with that. But then I think I fixed part of that. Anyway, my credit's getting back up there again. It's pretty decent. But, yeah. And then, and another thing about that was, so I just want to talk about that because, like I said, with this whole thing with this in episode 1, this apartment that I got denied for, I was thinking to myself, the first thing was I know my credit's decent. Like I've been working hard to keep my credit decent, at least decent, not great, not superb, 800 or 750 or whatever, but decent. And I got approved for a mortgage, and so it was on my mind. So I just wanted to tell that quick story. But and there's another part to it where, as I was going through all my creditors and paying them back, I guess whenever you start paying bills back, all the people that you owe get notified, like, hey, this guy's paying bills, and then they start calling. And I got phone calls from some of them like, hey, so yeah, you want to take care of this? And I paid them. And then I got a call from this one dude right around Christmas. And he's like, hey, Collin. I was like, yeah. He's like, how you doing? I said, all right. And he said, yeah, I'm calling on behalf of blah, blah, and hootie wop. And I said, okay, how much do I owe you? And I said, oh, you know what? It's cool that you called because I've been going through paying these as I go. And since you called, you're the next one that I'm going to pay. And he says, oh, uh-huh. So, yeah. And I was like, yeah, so just tell me how much it is and how much you'll take a month. And I promise you're the next one that I'm going to take care of. And he says, well, you owe us, I don't know what it was, $400. You owe us $400. And I was like, oh, okay. So how much can you take a month? He's like, well, we need $400. And I was like, well, most of these people are accepting payments and I'm doing good to buy them and I'm paying this shit off. Can you take $100 a month? I can take $400. And I was like, well, I don't have it right now. He's like, oh, well, why not? And I said, well, for one thing, it's Christmas. He says, oh, well, take back some of your Christmas presents and pay back my client the $400 that you owe. Like, and I never paid that company back ever. Like, that dude was an asshole. And I get it. Like, I'm sure he gets all kind of grief all day, every day with that shitty job trying to call and get money out of people. But I was going to pay, and I told him flat out that I'll pay if you had been reasonable about it. And he was like, yeah, no, that's not good enough, Collin. You've owed these people this money, and it's not fair. I'm sorry about your Christmas, but we need $400 today. And I was like, well, you know what? Fuck you. And click. And I don't believe I never did pay that. So about credit, there you have it. Next segment. Hope you like the corny ass sound drops I got. I'm working with the free ones right now. I'm gonna pay for some, but I don't know. I'm just practicing it anyway. So let's just fuck around with some happy shit. All right, another sip of my Elysian Space Dust. I'm gonna make my own IPA one day. I've seen a video on YouTube. It looks involved, but I think it's something that I would like to do, like Hank did on Breaking Bad. I don't think he made IPAs, but he made his own beer. And that's some man shit, just like reloading your own ammo and putting your woman in check when she gets mouthy. I'm just joking. Ladies, love you. All right, next segment. You're an asshole. You are an asshole. You're an asshole if you don't wave or smile or blink your lights or honk your horn or acknowledge in some type of manner when somebody lets you merge into traffic. Just fucking wave. If I slow down and flash you or just let you merge in front of me, it doesn't take much energy or effort to be a decent human being and just raise your hand to say thank you. If you don't, you're a piece of shit, and I hope you fucking careen off into a fucking river. Fuck you. That shit boils me a little bit whenever I'm nice and like, it's not even like it's a big deal. Just like it's not a big deal to just acknowledge that I was just being nice to you. Assholes. There's too many assholes. There's way more than enough assholes. Don't be one. You're also an asshole if you litter. But that's a way bigger thing for me. I hate people who litter. Like, I would like to see them lined up and executed. But that might be going too far. I'll put it like this, though. I feel like if you get caught littering I don't give a fuck if it's a candy bar wrapper or a fucking beer bottle that you just throw down on the ground somewhere. They should take you to a landfill. They should have special landfills in every city that they don't bury the shit. They just dump it on the top of the ground, and people who get caught littering have to go and sift through it for 12-hour shifts for, I don't know, depending on how bad your shit was. A minimum of a week of 12-hour shifts of sifting through the other people's garbage for recyclables. And up. A week up to 6 months. I don't give a fuck. Whatever. It depends. I was riding my motorcycle one time, going up a hill, and this Grand Cherokee was in front of me, and this motherfucker in the car, in the Grand Cherokee, rolled down his window and just starts dumping his garbage out. And I had to swerve my motorcycle. I felt like he was trying to kill me. And honestly, if I had had a gun on me, I would have probably shot one of his tires out. I was fucking furious. I'm swerving like for my life out of the way of all this garbage that he's throwing out of his fucking shit. And he saw me. I saw him look up in his mirror and look at me. And then when he was done throwing the garbage out, he tried to take off. And I caught up to him immediately, but I was like, well, what am I going to do? Like, all he has to do is slam on his brakes, or just, if I pull up next to him, he's going to just swerve me off the road or whatever. I should have just took his fucking license plate and turned him in, but I ain't no snitch or nothing. But I would have fucking shot at his truck if I had a gun. How about that? And, but I didn't. And that dude right there, minimum 6 months, 12-hour shifts, sifting through landfills for recyclables. Pull out, go through there. I don't give a fuck if a used condom can be recycled. Then I want him going in there and finding the used condoms and handling that shit for a month, just so he has an appreciation of what we don't want to look. I hate walking around the streets and just seeing everybody's fucking trash everywhere. Like, I don't want to live in a place that's a piece of shit. The inside of my fucking place where I live is clean. The inside of my car is clean. I'm clean. I teach my kid that he needs to be fresh all the time. That's super important as a part of being a man. And I just don't, it's depressing to walk around and see trash everywhere. Another quick story, and I think I've talked about this in the book, but I'm going to stop mentioning stuff in the book. Just get the book. You'll love the book, I promise. I came out, my mother's house is on a main drag where people fucking walk all the time. There's a lot of car and foot traffic, and we have a fenced in yard, and people just, I guess it looks like a fucking basketball hoop, and they all just like try to throw 3-pointers with their basket or with their empty pop bottles and shit into our yard. And it breaks my fucking spirit. And I came out one time, and I just happened to come out and open the front door and saw this young teenage chick and a teenage dude, and the female had like a bag of chips and a empty like Pepsi bottle, and she looked like, what am I gonna do with this? Like, I saw her look kind of confused for a second, and then she just turned and threw them both in my fucking yard, and I ran outside and picked up that bottle and fired it right at the back of her head. So yeah, fuck you if you're a litter bug. I hope you die. And fuck you if you don't acknowledge when somebody lets you into traffic, lets you merge in on a road that you're trying to merge into. Yeah. Next segment. I need another swig of my beer here. I'm going to go ahead and forecast that this is going to be about an hour and a half podcast episode. And that's if I fucking push it. So let me push it. Because I don't know if I haven't uploaded any of these to iTunes or anything yet. So I don't know if there's going to be like cost involved, and if it goes by how long, like how much data the episode is or whatever. So I probably don't want to start going into 2-hour episodes this early in the game. Even though I know you all love it. I hope you love it. I hope you're lucky enough to stick around, because I'm going to be doing this for a long time. It just feels natural to me. So I found something I like to do. I like to write too. I'm also going to, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I'm going to definitely write 2 more books for sure. They're not going to be in the same vein as the first one. The first one is just stuff that was those are stories that I've been telling for years that always, get a reaction out of people. And I figured, well, let me see, just put them all in a book and make a. I look at it like a coffee table book, because you can just pick it up and open it and just start reading anywhere you open it. Like, it's not like a linear story. It's just a bunch of stories. You can literally pick that thing up and flip and pick a page and just start reading wherever you are and just get sucked into whatever story you're at. And I think it's great for like people who travel and shit. You can just put it in your bag and pull it out. And like, you don't have to like, when you pick it up, you don't have to remember where you were. Like, oh shit, what happened to Bill? What happened? It's not like a one long story. It's 200 little stories that are all interesting in their own way. So 2 more coming. The next one's going to be probably a serious one about serious world issues. And then the one after that's going to be fiction. I have this fiction story in my brain that I've been chewing on for years that I'm going to probably write up. And then after that, I actually have a video game that I'm interested in writing, but I have no idea what process to go through how to start writing a video game, what format it needs to be in or anything like that, or who I need to talk to. So I got to research that. And I also have a movie in my head that I actually wrote 3/4 of already, starting like 15 years ago. I only didn't write that before the book that I wrote because it's a superhero movie, and the fucking industry is just flooded with superhero movies right now. And besides, I heard somewhere that there are all these excellent movie scripts that you can go. I think there's a website that's just full of movie scripts that didn't go anywhere, and they're all supposedly better than what you see in the movies these days, because Hollywood has formulas on what makes money. And so the best stuff, the stuff that I would like, the stuff that I would write, doesn't get any play because it doesn't pull in the masses of retards. Sorry, that your average Joe consumer that is kind of dumb as fuck. All right, so anyway, next segment, Fix This Now. That's I changed the name of that segment a bunch already. Like I said, if you have better names for the segments, please let me know. Let's have a discussion. I'm open. Trust me. I don't have all the ideas, just some of them. And segment names ain't one of them. I haven't even come up with names for the fucking episode yet. I know that most of the podcasts I listen to, they have segment or episode names. So that's something I got to work on before I upload all these ones. All right, Fix This Now. This is stuff that I think we're way behind as a species, and this is stuff that should have been already worked out but isn't. Getting into this quickly. Have you ever went to pick up somebody at the grocery store and pull up right in front, which just seems and feels natural, and then had the cops come and tell you to move the fuck out of the way because it's a fire lane? I don't know what the hell that was. Wow, there'd be some fucking crazy noises coming from upstairs. And from what I hear, there's just some old lady up there. And I mean, I don't know if that registered on the mic, but that was like I felt that. Like somebody just got body slammed on the fucking face by like a fucking wrestler. Anyway, grocery stores. You got to pick somebody up in a grocery store. It just feels natural to just pull straight up to the front door with your car and have them come up with a cart, throw the shit in, push the cart back inside in the door, and they come and jump out and leave. But the cops won't let you do that. They say it's a fire lane, whatever the fuck that means. There needs to be loading zones for grocery stores, Walmarts, and shit like that. There just needs to be a thing. Like, it happens to me every week at least once or twice where my mother calls me and I have to go pick her up from a grocery store, and I go, and whenever I get there, she comes out the front door. I'm pulling up. I go to pull up in front of her at the front of the store, and there's a line of cars behind me trying to get by, and then I say, oh, okay, and I pull down into one of the lanes, and if I go to pull into a parking spot, there's people, but it's just always a pain in the fucking dick. Or if I get there before my mother comes out of the store, she has to, she says she'll call me or text me and say, where you at? And I'll say, okay, I'm down in this lane, down 3/4 down on the left or the right. She has to come looking for me. It's just a pain. Like, we know that people get picked up from grocery stores, and there should be a fucking loading zone. Pick a fucking side. Buildings have 4 sides usually. Pick one of them and designate that as not a fire lane, like a side with a blank wall and maybe one exit door, and then put some fucking parking spots. Not even parking spots. Just put it a big open space where people can just pull in, and people who want to get picked up go out that door, push their cart straight up to their car out in that area, unload, have one of those cart stations where they can deposit their cart right there, and then they jump in the car and leave. Like, so nobody is allowed to park their car and get out of their car and leave it there. If a car is parked there, then it has to be somebody in that car. And it sounds stupid, but it just makes sense. It is stupid. Let's just do it and get it done and not even fucking talk about it anymore. What the fuck's a fire lane? Fire hose. I've seen fire hoses go fucking like a half a mile down the street. The trucks don't need to be directly up against the fucking building. They have fucking ladders that extend. You could park a fucking fire truck at the other end of a parking lot and hit the building with the hose. I can understand if there was a whole traffic jam of cars parked where the fire trucks need to be. Just give us one side where they're probably give us one side of the building, a loading zone with its own door from now on. It's not that fucking big of a deal. And since that was kind of a corny topic, you might think, I kind of think it was corny, but it's true, and I'd like to see that happen because there's no reason why it shouldn't. I'm going to throw in a second one, which is that the lottery, I've played the lottery so much in my life. And the one thing that I notice about it is that it's dumb. We have these Powerballs and Mega Millions and super extra bucks, giant fucking jackpots that get up to like $1 billion and all this shit. And there's no reason for that. Like, if the lottery made sense, it would give out way more medium-sized and smaller prizes. I think Tom and Christina would be proud of that one. There should be like way more $50,000 to like $1 million prizes. Like every week there should be 5 guaranteed, like wherever state you're in, there should be 5 $1 million guaranteed winners every week, because they look how much fucking money. If the Powerball jackpot can go up to $400 million or even $100 million, like often, fuck that. That's dumb. Nobody needs $100 million anyway. If you get it, great, but they're going to take half off the top anyway in taxes. And then once you pick the lump sum, they're taking half of that half. So it's dumb. Okay. We don't need a $400 million lottery. Nobody needs $400 million, but there's a lot of broke ass people, me included, who could use $1 million. Give us 5 to 10, give us 10, give us 7 $1 million winners every week. Why? Because the money comes in. Do it. And then on top of that, give us $50,000 winners. That's not like changing society. Like, I know that society is built on so many people being such poor and all that. That's just going to help a lot of people maybe get a car or pay off some bills or, buy a house or something. I want to see $50,000 winners every week in every state. And I want to see at least 5 $1 million winners every week. I'm going to say 10 $1 million winners every week. It's going to raise everybody up and make people generally more happy. So those are things I want to see now. All right. I want to talk about a song.
Made up of hope and meditation, love, imagination, water my creation. Baby, it's amazing, all the days I'm facing, nothing seems to faze me, 'cause I am confident lost. I don't need you to find me, 'cause I'm not hiding.
that was Confidently Lost by a woman named Sabrina Claudio. S-A-B, well, you know how to spell Sabrina. Sabrina Claudio. Claudio. I just found her recently on YouTube. I don't know. She just popped up into my brand. I guess based on stuff that I listened to, it was like suggested by YouTube. And I saw her thumbnail. I was like, damn, she's cute. And clicked on it just based on how she looked. And I was pleasantly blown away by this woman's singing talent and her songs. Love it. She has an album out, I believe. I only bought that single so far, but I'm gonna buy whatever else she has out because I've listened to everything she has out and I like it all. I've only bought Confidently Lost so far, but there's also a cover that she did on YouTube of I think one of Will Smith's daughters or something. Somebody Smith this woman, Sabrina Claudio, did a cover of a song called Female Energy on YouTube, and it is great. I've listened to it about 100 times already, and I just fall into it. And she's good enough to where she just does those impromptu video or cover song on YouTube, like in her house with a microphone. She just starts singing, and you're like, and I'm blown away. Like she can sing her ass off. Okay, hygiene tip. All right. Today's hygiene tip is for people who get ingrown hairs. I'm not sure if I know that some white people, especially like Irish people, I think get ingrown hairs, like redheads and shit. I think they get ingrown hairs. I'm not sure about the rest, like the blondes and like Greek, like with straight black hair. I don't know if you people get ingrown hairs, but black people get ingrown hairs. Our hairs are like coarse and curly, and they curl right back into our bodies. And this is something I have the worst head of grade of hair that exists in nature. And I didn't even know. Like I used to think that I just got. It's called. I got a shaving waiver in the military, which meant like everybody has to be clean shaven in the military, but at least in the Air Force. And I didn't. I could have a beard all the time because I get razor bumps if I shave with a straight razor. So I've been shaving with clippers since I was a teenager. On top of that, I didn't know that half of what I was seeing, like on my neck and my face, wasn't razor bumps. It was what they call that pseudo folliculitis barbae, by the way, razor bumps. I'll never forget that because I had to carry around a card with me in the Air Force to show people who outranked me, who would question me about why I wasn't clean shaven. I would pull that out, and it said pseudo folliculitis barbae, which just means you get razor bumps. But it was actually a white dude, a white friend of mine, who told me, who filled me in, that half of the bumps on my face and my neck were not razor bumps. They were ingrown hairs, and I had no idea. I was like, what? And once he showed me that, holy shit, it changed my life. He's like, yeah, you got to get those out, man. Get a needle or something and just pluck them out. And I started doing that, and it changed my life. My neck used to just be so irritated and just raw all the time with bleeding bumps just all the time. And then once he told me that, now I look every day, I catch them and I pick them out. And for the most part, my skin is all right. But the hygiene tip is for people with, and a lot of people get it like in your groin area, like your fucking pubes and shit. Me too. They grow. I get razor anywhere I get hair. I can get ingrown hairs. Not like my arms and shit, but like my pubes and like my head and my neck and my face, and I get them on my back sometimes. My ex-girlfriend was good for that. She would pluck them out for me. My baby mama. That was a quality of her. She didn't mind that. And damn, I missed that. I need that because it's gross. I mean, I could see, somebody not wanting to do that, but she didn't care. Okay, for getting ingrown hairs out, I've done all kinds of different shit. The main thing that I've done is use a pin, like a straight pin or like a needle or something. The best way that I found to do it is these things called splinter out. I found these at work. Actually, it was another white dude who showed me them at work. He said, check these out, dude. These are fucking like so super sharp. What they are is it's a little flat piece of metal with the point on it is like barbed. It's like jaggedy, but it's super sharp and tiny. And so if you had a splinter in your hand or your arm or something, and you stick that in there, all you have to do is just rub it up against the piece of wood or whatever stuck in under your skin, and it grabs onto it, and then you back it out, and it pulls the splinter out perfectly every time. They work amazingly. The thing is so sharp you don't feel it when you poke yourself with it, and it grabs hairs. Is the point. They work amazing for ingrown hairs. And not only that, but it's cheap. I think a box of them, they come in a little plastic box. I would get like 5 boxes of them because it's like $2 or $3 or something, and you'll lose them. Another piece of advice for that is if you buy them and you get them, tape them to something like a pencil or something, a toothbrush or something, so that you don't lose them. They're little, they're very small, and you'll lose them. But so just buy a bunch. They're cheap, and then all you do is just stick it in there, and they're like barbed. They just grab onto the hair, and you pull it out, and it works better than anything I've used. They're on Amazon. They're cheap. All right, something I bought recently. Oh, it was so beautiful out today, by the way. It was like I think it was about 70, but it was gloomy. But it was about 67, matter of fact, which is just perfect. I would take that year round. Just give me between 65 and 70 year round with 1 month of 90, and that's just so I can go swimming because I love swimming. If I could swim, if I had every day for 1 month, I could be cool after that, and you can give me 70s again, between 65 and 70. I say between 60 and 70. My motorcycle loves cooler weather like 50s, so I'm gonna say between 55 and 67 is perfect for me. And then in the winter, I will fly somewhere or drive somewhere cold for snowboarding. And then other than that, I'm good to go. I can go to Hawaii for a vacation if I want. I've never been to Hawaii. I remember I wanted to go to Hawaii so bad, and my mom went with the rest of my family, and I just didn't have the money. Ugh. And then on top of that, here's a quick true story. I was a delivery dude then, but for a lumber company, and the guy who was unloading my lumber truck said, we were talking, like, hey, how you doing? He's like, I'll be better tomorrow. I'll be in Hawaii. And I was like, what? You're going to Hawaii too? I said, my mother went to Hawaii. And he's like, oh yeah, man, I go every year. See ya. And then he left. And then when he came back, he told me that he had met my mother in Hawaii. The fucking chances of that. Like, he had a story about her being behind him in line, and they bumped into each other or something, and started talking, and yeah, we're both from Philly, and she's, oh yeah, and blah blah blah. And it turned out that my mom ran into that dude at the lumber yard. It was crazy. Anyway, okay, something I bought recently. I take book bags very seriously. And I actually didn't buy this recently, but I was sitting looking at it, and it's still damn near brand new, and it's excellent, and I love it, and I just want to recommend it to people. By the way, I'm not always going to talk about stuff that I love. I'm going to talk about stuff that I think you should not get as well. But this is something that you should get. It's a book bag. It's called an Ogio Gambit 17. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I looked it up today just to make sure that it's still available, and the version that I saw on the Ogio website right now, I guess, is a new version, and it looks a little different than mine. I'm guessing it's improved. I think the one that I have looks a little bit better, but it's still the one that's on the website right now looks good, and they have the one that I have on Amazon still. It's a dope ass looking book bag. Let me pull it around here so I can look at it. It's black. The inside is red. It has 1,000,001 different compartments, different sizes for everything. It even has like a hard at the very top of it. There's like a heavy duty padded, heavy, strong carry handle, and then there's a zipper part that opens up, and it's a hard case for your sunglasses, so it protects your sunglasses, which is a big deal. If you ride motorcycles and shit, you usually have sunglasses, and if you put your sunglasses in your pocket, they're going to get broken. It holds up to a 17-inch laptop. It also has a sleeve for a tablet. It has uber buku fucking room inside of it. No bullshit. Yesterday I had a notebook, I had my laptop, I had a 6-pack of beer, I had a bag of French fries, I had my Contigo coffee travel mug that I talked about yesterday, which is pretty big, and a whole bunch of other shit in this bag. And I was on my motorcycle with it on my back, and it was comfortable, no problem. The arm bands are nice and padded just right. It has a chest strap to go across the middle, like if you're riding a motorcycle and you want it to be extra snug. What else did I write down about it? It looks great. It holds a lot. It's super durable and strong. All the zippers, like you can look at these zippers and they're big. They're big, but they're sexy. Like they look really good. Like they're fancy and shit, but they're heavy duty. So like a big problem I've had with, I don't know if you ever heard of the company Echo Unlimited. I bought a couple of their book bags, and the first one that I bought was a piece of shit, and the zippers just fell apart, and that's a big deal. These zippers ain't falling apart. This thing is a piece of work. It's heavy duty. Anything else I want to say about it? It's on Amazon right now. It was about $100, I think. I know it's $100. The new version of it is on the Ogio website, and it's $100. And it's Ogio Gambit 17. And the way that it's interesting, the way that I came across this book bag was because I had saw there's a company called Dainese who makes motorcycle equipment like leather jackets and racing leathers and shit like that, and they made their own book bag, and I just happened to see it and was like, fuck, that is the hardest book bag I ever seen in my life. But it was sold out, obviously, because it was awesome, and it had the Dainese logo on it and shit. It was fancy as hell. And what I'm getting at is it was this book bag, but it just had the Dainese logos on it and shit. It was the exact same. It was the Gambit 17, but it had that Italian racing motorcycle company's fucking shit on it, and I could never get that one, and they wanted more money for it anyway. And then I just saw Gambit 17, and I just Googled it, and bam, there's the regular Gambit 17, which is also good looking. So anything else I want to say about that? Because I'm running out of time here. I'm at 1 hour and 4 minutes already. Yeah, because I buy book bags, and 99% of the time, if you see me, I have my book bag with me. So that's why it's a big deal for me. Durable zippers, carry handle, blue. Where's my beer at? That's it. Yeah, that's it. And it feels good on your back. It's comfortable. All right. Next topic I want to talk about is the UFC. I wrote into another podcast I listen to is the Real Ass Podcast with Louis J. Gomez. It's one of my favorites. It's in my top 5, and he does his own another. He does about 15 podcasts. You should check out the Real Ass Podcast or Legion of Skanks if you like podcasts. Those are two along with Your Mom's House, obviously, which is my second favorite. Excuse me. Tuesdays with Stories is my favorite. Your Mom's House podcast is my second favorite. You Know What Dude is my third favorite with Bobby Kelly. My fourth favorite will be Real Ass Podcast. And from there's a whole bunch of other ones. There's Race Wars and Tim Dillon's Going to Hell. There's a whole bunch. But the Real Ass Podcast with Louis J. Gomez, he's always saying, hey, if you got questions, send them in and I'll answer them. He didn't answer my question, and I know why. I sent in a very serious question, and he either didn't give a fuck or he disagreed or he just couldn't, I could see why he wouldn't want to, because he does another podcast called something with Michael Bisping, the UFC middleweight, I think, champion. And it's kind of a conflict of interest. But as far as the UFC goes, I asked him this question. I said, I've been a fan of the UFC since the beginning, since it was on a VHS tape, since the fighters did multiple fights in a day, since it was like literally no rules, since it was, before it was what it is today. And I've watched it grow over the years and morph and become legitimate over the years. And in my opinion, right now, it is fastly losing its legitimacy because of the way that it's being run. and it bothers the fuck out of me. And there's like so many problems with it. For one thing, the shit that Mark Hunt is talking about. If you know who Mark Hunt is, he's a heavyweight UFC fighter, and he complained because Brock Lesnar beat him up, and Brock Lesnar got away with doing all kind of steroids. And Mark Hunt's point was, he didn't like complain about losing the fight. He's just saying that basically it's bullshit that the UFC lets these gigantic steroid muscle heads in there to fight against people who aren't on steroids. It's not like baseball where if somebody's on steroids, they're just going to hit more home runs further. It's where one guy punches with the force of a car and the other one punches with the force of a speeding 18-wheeler. Somebody could die. Like it's not cool. And I get it. People would say, "Oh, don't be a pussy," or whatever. I don't know what people would say. But me personally, I disagree with that all the way. And here's the point. The point is Brock Lesnar, and I'm not even trying to point the finger at Brock Lesnar, but as far as Mark Hunt and Brock Lesnar goes, Brock Lesnar should not have been allowed to get away with what he got away with steroids and shit, because he's only really allowed in there with steroids as the gigantic motherfucker. Like, if he wasn't so gigantic, he wouldn't be such a draw. He's a draw because he's a freak of nature. He's huge. He has fighting skill and ability and all that, but everybody in the UFC has fighting skill and ability. He's a draw because he was in the WWE, and he's a fucking skyscraper of a dude. He's a gigantic motherfucker, and half of what you see is steroids. If they didn't let that in there, if they didn't allow for the steroids, Brock Lesnar wouldn't be a thing in the UFC, and they wouldn't make that money. Okay, so here's why that's the problem. You let that in, you set the precedent where we're going to do anything to make money. We want to put on the spectacle. It's a spectacle. Okay, so basically the UFC, the legitimacy that it has fought so hard, they just have been accepted into New York City. I don't know what the fucking problem was with them being allowed in New York, but for years and years and years and years and years, they were denied the permits, the rights to put shows on in New York, and they just got it. They've had all kind of problems with being recognized as a legitimate sport event. Okay, fuck the crowds and all that shit. If I was a fighter and I spent my whole life training, okay, sure, you can get out there, and if you can put on a good show, then you can make a lot of money and be a Conor McGregor or a Ronda Rousey. And I'm saying skill aside, if you can put on a good show, like Brock Lesnar, if you're some sort of a freak of nature that draws in money, then they will put you forward. Now, if I'm the guy who's over there, like Habib Nurmagomedov, whatever his name is, who has been saying for long, people have, Joe Rogan said this motherfucker is the shit. I don't know what the fucking controversy. They finally gave him his shot in there. If that was me and I was in there and I had fought my whole life like as a legitimate fucking martial artist, and I missed my fucking turn at what I have earned at what the fuck does the belt mean? If Michael Bisping, who I've been watching since he was in The Ultimate Fighter, has finally become the champion, and now George St. Pierre, who hasn't fought since 2013, gets to step right back in, and now he's fighting for the belt. Like, that means that the belt doesn't mean anything. That means that the belt it's a television belt. It means that this is what's going to draw in a crowd right now. And that just takes the legitimacy away from the sport. And that pisses me off. I hate that. I hate the way that the UFC is being run. I don't give a fuck about Conor McGregor fighting Floyd Mayweather. I think that is a circus. I think it's complete bullshit, and I think that people shouldn't watch that. Like, what do you think you're going to see? What do you think do you really think Conor McGregor is a good enough boxer to fight Floyd Mayweather? You know that he's not. He's a great fighter. I wouldn't want to fight him. I'm way bigger than him, and I'm sure he would still fuck me up. But that's not the point. He is not Floyd Mayweather's level as far as boxing. And Floyd Mayweather couldn't grapple with him, I'm sure. I don't know. I've never seen him grapple. But I'm sure that if they were grappling, Conor McGregor would fucking choke him out with the quickness. What is the point of that fight? There is no point to that fight. You're being tricked, people. Either nothing is going to happen and Conor McGregor is going to dance, or they're going to put on a little fucking pre-agreed to fucking horseshit show that damages neither fighter, and they're both going to walk away with all of our money from the pay-per-view. Because we've been tricked into thinking that there's going to be something awesome happening. I guarantee nothing awesome is happening. Even if Floyd Mayweather knocks out Conor McGregor, that's not awesome. He's not going to knock him out. He doesn't punch hard enough to knock out Conor McGregor. And Conor McGregor is not fast enough or skillful enough to connect with Floyd Mayweather. Even in his whatever age he is, late 30s or whatever the fuck he is. There's no point in that. It's to make money. It's to steal from us. You understand? And it's taken a fucking huge dookie right down the throats of people who look at the sport. I remember watching Diego Sanchez fight Karo Parisian. And those motherfuckers, like I was watching, I was like, I don't even think most people caught it. Karo's a judo dude. Karo planted Diego on the top of his fucking own head several times in that fight and still lost. The whole fucking, and then Diego is a fucking warrior. And I knew that he was going to be the shit when I saw him on The Ultimate Warrior, and he was doing yoga when everybody else was getting drunk and fighting each other and shit. I think that was the one with Chris dyed his hair all the time, punched a door and cut his own knuckle off. Chris, I'd like that dude. But anyway, I'm a fan of the UFC. I take it seriously. I don't give a fuck about what sells. I don't want to see the spectacle. I don't want to see. What I was trying to say about Diego and Karo is I was watching it and I'm a fan of the fucking arts, and I was looking at it like, fuck. I saw what Diego's a stronger jiu-jitsu guy, and Karo had to turn to use his judo against him, but that still wasn't effective enough. And I was in it, like fucking appreciating the styles and the work that they put in and everything. And I don't give a fuck if one of them was on steroids and knocked the other one dead. I would be sad. I would feel like I got ripped off. It really upsets me. And they don't. And I don't expect Luis J. Gomez to talk about it because he's wrapped into that shit. GSP's fighting for the belt. I looked it up on today on SureDog just to be sure. GSP's last fight was against Johnny Hendrick in 2013, and he gets to just step in and fight for the title? Are you fucking kidding me? How many dudes under Bisping have been fighting for years to get their chance, and they get bumped by GSP, who was retired? Fuck that shit, man. That's gay. It's 100% bullshit. And I used to think, like, if I ever had money to go to Vegas, the one thing I would want to do is play poker. The second thing I would want to do is see a UFC fight. But I tell you, I just fucking, I don't know. I hate the way it's going. Maybe you'll probably disagree with me, but I get worked up about that shit. I used to take jiu-jitsu, and I had aspirations of becoming not a professional fighter or nothing, but competing a little bit. I never did it because of money, and it's expensive to train. They don't ever talk about that. Next topic. Movies. The first thing I want to talk about as far as movies goes is I want to list movies that made me cry. I talked to my boss at work, and apparently he cries all the time at movies. He cried at Toy Story, I guess, which he's seen 50 times, and he cried every time. So with that said, he's a dude, and I did not know that dudes cry watching movies that often. But he was just like, "What? Yeah, you didn't cry when you watched The Mailbox?" I'm like, "I've never seen The Mailbox, dude." He's like, "Oh shit!" Oh, and he's clowning me for not crying from not watching that. The mailbox. It was the mailbox. Is that the one with the love story or whatever? The boathouse. The one with the chick and Keanu Reeves. Was it Rachel McAdams and Keanu Reeves? Whatever it was. The lake house. Whatever. There have only been 2 movies that have ever made me cry, and then there were 2 honorable mentions that almost made me cry. The first honorable mention was a movie called Savannah Smiles, and it was from when I was a kid. It's got to be a 80s or 70s movie. What it was about was 2 criminals. I think they were bank robbers, and they somehow ended up with they robbed a bank, and then I think they took a little girl hostage just to get away. And the little girl ended up being like some rich people's daughter. And then they ended up holding her for a ransom and shit. But it was all just bullshit because they weren't bad guys. And they were just desperate. And they treated they didn't mean to take the little girl. They just had to. And then when they did, they treated her super nice. And the little girl actually hated her family and the way she was growing up and everything. And loved being with those guys and ended up wanting to stay with them and be raised by them. And they basically took her on as their daughter or whatever. And but they ended up having to give her up when the cops found them. And it was super sad because you wanted her, like they were legitimately better people than her parents were. Her parents were not bank robbers or whatever, but they were horrible people. And the bank robbers weren't really bad people at all. They were just desperate. And the guys had to go to jail, and the little girl had to be separated from the guys, and it was super sad. And I remember almost crying. I didn't cry, like I got that knot in my throat, but I manned up and didn't cry. And that was when I was a little boy. The second one that almost legitimately made me cry was Real Steel with Wolverine and the little kid about the fighting robot. I don't know why I got really emotional about that one, and it's like you knew what was coming, so there was no reason why I should have let it get to me, but it did. Period. I got really choked up at the end of that movie because I was just like, if you watch it, it's a good movie. You'll look at it and you'll know what it's about and you'll know what to expect. And I still say you should watch it. Movies that did make me cry, there were only 2. One of them was Antoine Fisher. That was the first one. Fucking cowbells. If you've never seen that, it's a fucking tragedy of a fucking story. And, but I mean, it's, even at the end, I don't feel like at the end of it that the shit was resolved and that like everything turned around. I look at that dude and I see a dude who's permanently damaged from everything that he's been through. Like at the end of the movie, they show the actual real, it's based on a true story, and they show the actual real dude. And he looks like, I don't think he'll ever be normal again from the shit that he's been through. That movie had me bawling for the first time in my life. The second one that made me cry was a movie called Warrior that was recommended to me by a dude that I work with. I had never even heard of it. Tom Hardy's in it, fucking Bane, who was also in, check it out, 3 Degrees of Separation. Tom Hardy was in a movie that today's all-time champion beauty candidate or selectee or whatever was in, who was also in, and both of them were in a movie that is on my all-time movies list, which I'm about to talk about. So that's, you'll get what I'm saying. All right, so Antoine Fisher made me cry. Warrior is an excellent movie. Antoine Fisher I wouldn't even recommend unless you're into deep, sad bummers of movies. It's a deep, sad bummer of a movie, but it's a true story, but it's very well acted. Denzel's in it and shit, whatever. But it's just a bummer. It's very sad. Warrior, that's some shit. That is that's an emotion fucking nuclear bomb right there. Nick Nolte, Tom Hardy, and I forget the other dude's name, but that's about family, like a tragic, fucked up family, and what happens when your family's all fucked up and tragic to individuals in the family. That movie has made me feel more sadness, but it's also it's about fighting, mixed martial arts and shit. It's excellent. It is an A+ fucking movie. I would definitely recommend going to see Warrior. You're not going to find Savannah Smiles anywhere. Real Steel is a good movie. And what's her face is in it? I don't remember her name. Anyway, next thing in movies, next category. I want to talk about movies that legitimately scared me. Only a few. I always go in on the scary movies. Well, I used to, not so much anymore. It was kind of like to, because growing up, I had night terrors and all kind of just I've had everything: sleep apnea, night terrors, it's just every sleep problem I've had it, and then on top of it, the night terrors is a real fucking thing, and night terrors fucked me up for a long time, and I just used to be scared of the dark hardcore, and to get past that, I just started forcing myself to watch every scary movie, and I got used to it, and I don't get scared of them anymore. But there was a few that legitimately scared me over the years. Here's a list. The first one ever was The Terminator with Schwarzenegger. That movie gave me nightmares as a child because it wasn't that it was a scary like horror movie, but it was like I internalized what was happening in the movie back then. I just remember them saying that it'll never stop. You can't bargain with it. You can't pay it off. It doesn't sleep. It doesn't get tired. And it's coming for you. And the only thing that's going to stop it is when you're dead. And when I saw that movie, I thought, like, if that thing was coming for me, how fucking scary that would be. Like, you would never be able to really rest because you don't know how close it is to you and you can't stop it. So you just have to keep running. That gave me nightmares for a long time. And that's the first movie that I can think of that legitimately scared me. Christine, the Stephen King book, that was the movie about the car. That scared the shit out of me. Gave me nightmares. It was a good book. It was a decent. It was an okay book. Stephen King has way better books than that, but the movie scared me. Another movie that scared the shit out of me, and there's actually a story with that, is Event Horizon. I'm not going to tell the story right now because I'm already at an hour and a half. Event Horizon is a space movie with Lawrence Fishburne, and it's about a spaceship that goes missing, and it turns out it went to hell and came back, like literally, and it came back haunted. And that movie scared the fucking shit out of me, especially one of the main reasons. I went to see it by myself at night, and then so like I don't know, midnight when the movie was over, I went to work, and I worked at night in the Air Force on giant empty airplanes that were dark with no power on, and I had to go up in them by myself and count things and remove stuff and put stuff on. And yeah, I really got in my own head about, because being in these giant C-5 airplanes was like being in a giant haunted spaceship in the dark. So that movie scared the shit out of me. It's a good movie. I would check it out. I would say if you like space movies, it's definitely good if you haven't seen it. The final movie that scared the shit out of me that I can think of was The Exorcist: The Beginning. Not the original Exorcist. I never gave a fuck about that movie. The Exorcist: The Beginning, which was the one that took place in the desert, that was like a prequel to the actual, I don't know if it was a true story like The Exorcist or what, but I think it was. It's what happened before the actual Exorcist movie happened. That movie is fucking terrifying. And if you want to be scared the shit the fuck out of, watch The Exorcist: The Beginning. Bottom line. The Exorcist: The Beginning. I need to open a beer. Is a very scary fucking movie. So is the fucking Fourth Kind. That's a scary movie because that's all true. And I actually, that movie scared the shit out of me, and I looked it up. Like, you can look up everything that happened in that movie. It's all true. It's all documented. It's all online. It's all in newspapers and microfiche and whatever you want. That is a scary fucking movie, The Fourth Kind. It's about alien abduction. Check it out. Okay. Next subject in movies, perfect movies that I believe are A+. There's nothing I would change about them. The first one is Braveheart with Mel Gibson and Sophie Marceau. Braveheart is a perfect movie. It had everything. It had action. It had the love element. It had the emotional shit. It had tragedy. It had like every category that a movie can have. It had it. And it also, well, except for like musical, and it did it perfectly to me. It had betrayal, and it was a true story. It was loosely based on the true story. And I actually saw Braveheart is like a 3.5 hour movie, and I saw it 3 times in a movie theater. So that should tell you how I felt about that movie, how I feel about it. It doesn't quite hold up as well, the action shit, because CG and all that. But story wise, perfect fucking movie. A Few Good Men is another perfect movie, and it didn't require action. It didn't require love. It was perfectly written, perfectly acted. If you've never seen A Few Good Men, do yourself a favor. And I don't know how you have to order it on demand or something. I don't know. Find it and watch it. Watch it again and watch it again, and realize how good of an actor Tom Cruise is, and how good of an actor Nick. Oh fuck, what the hell is his name? From The Shining, Jack Nicholson. 2 excellent fucking actors. A Few Good Men is it's a perfect movie. Another perfect movie is Sherlock Holmes: Game of Shadows, which is the other movie that today's champion beauty was in. The director of Sherlock Holmes: Game of Shadows is Guy Ritchie, who also directed a movie called Rock and Rolla, which is a really, really fucking good movie. I love every movie that I've seen that Guy Ritchie has made. And if I ever make my movie, I hope to get Guy Ritchie to direct my movie. He is my favorite director, period. The movie Rock and Rolla stars Tom Hardy and today's champion beauty. Okay, so where was that? Guy Ritchie is a dope director. Game of Shadows, Sherlock, both of the newer version Sherlock Holmes movies that were directed by Guy Ritchie are fucking some of my favorite movies ever. Robert Downey Jr. as Sherlock Holmes is great. Just the way that I love everything, the cinematography, the fucking music, the acting, the casting, all of it is great. The story. And Game of Shadows, I love it a little bit more, a lot more. It was just great. Check it out. Buy it. I'm going to buy it. And here's what pissed me off about that. I bought the DVD for the first Sherlock Holmes for $5, and I've seen it 100 times, but I saw it in Walmart for $5 and picked it up. And then the next time I went in Walmart, I saw the double pack with Sherlock Holmes and Sherlock Holmes 2 Game of Shadows for $5. Pissed me the fuck off. I should have, if I'd have known, I didn't know. Anyway, Sherlock Holmes Game of Shadows is a perfect movie to me. Everything about it, there's nothing I would change. Rachel McAdams is fucking, I wonder if she's gay. There's something about, like, as attractive as she is, especially in Mean Girls, and the moles she has, that she's fine as hell to me. But something in her face says that there's something weird. There's something going on. Like she might like girls only or something. I don't know. Where was I? The final perfect movie that I wish to talk about today, I'm sure I'll think of other ones in the future, is The Abyss. If you've never seen that, it stars Mary Elizabeth Master Antonio and the dude from The Rock. What the fuck is his name? And he was in Pain and Gain, the private detective. It doesn't matter. Check it out. It's called The Abyss. It's an old movie from like the 90s. It is a perfect A+. Everything that they try to do, I believe they did. I've seen that movie a million times, and there is a scene in that movie which is of the most dramatic that I've ever seen in any movie, which was when Mary Elizabeth Master Antonio and the guy are both on the bottom of the ocean, stuck in a broke down bottom of the ocean going vehicle, those little mini submarine things, and it breaks and has a hole in it. And they have to get back to the fucking there's like a station, a underwater sea station down there where they came from. They need to get back to that because their little submarine is broken. The problem is that there's only one wetsuit, diving suit, like pressurized diving suit in the fucking submarine with them. One of them has to die. Holy shit. You talk about a dramatic scene. That shit will fuck you up. Watch The Abyss. It is a fucking phenomenal fucking movie. Okay, movies that made me laugh the hardest of any other ones is the next category. Number one movie that made me laugh the hardest of all time is Freddy Got Fingered. From talking to people about that movie, people either agree with me or they hate that fucking movie. And I understand why. The movie is completely it's lowbrow as fuck. But it's my kind of humor. It's Tom Green and Rip Torn and a bunch of other people. And when you find out why the movie is called Freddy Got Fingered, it's funny as fuck. And everything about that movie. And what's her face? In all the fucking what's his face movie? That woman who showed her tits to David Letterman. She's in all the fucking she was in Charlie's Angels. That one. The one who was married to Tom Green. I don't know, whatever her name is. I'm drinking. She was in it. And now I need to know. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up. It'll only take me 1 second. Never mind. My phone's in airplane mode because I was getting text messages. And she was in 50 First Dates and every other Adam Sandler movie. You know who I'm talking about. Her. She's in it. It's funny. If you have my sense of humor, nothing will be funnier. It's lowbrow, trashy fucking humor, but it's maximum lowbrow, trashy fucking humor. And I love that movie. And I recommend it to anybody. But I'm telling you, you're either going to love it or you're going to be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Not only do I not like it, I won't ever watch that again. Like, people will go one way or the other on that one. But that one made me laugh the hardest of anything else. The second, number two, would be the South Park movie, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. When they did that, when they did everything, the guys at South Park just know funny. They're Trey Parker, Matt Stone, or whatever. They know funny. They know my brand of funny. I don't watch South Park the show anymore just because their formula now is, well, I guess it's always been, is they pick topics that are hot and then they make their funny version of it. They poke fun at shit and all that. And I don't always want to go with that. Like, I don't like always thinking about whatever's going on in the world. I don't watch the news, so I don't listen to the news. I don't watch the news. So I had to leave South Park alone. But when I first started watching South Park, the show, I was on the ground, literally fell off my seat laughing. And that's the only time in my life when I fell off the seat laughing. But that's not talking about a movie. That's talking about the TV show. The movie, second funniest movie I've ever seen. Third funniest movie. Well, I'm not going to say third funniest movie, but another movie that goes in the movies that have made me laugh would be Happy Gilmore. The Price is Wrong, bitch. Like, I've seen that movie a lot, and it still makes me laugh every time. Not as much, I'm talking 20 years later or whatever, but it at least makes me smile still. But nothing's made me laugh harder than Freddy Got Fingered. Movies. Next category. I think this is the final category. Yes. The movie that I have seen the most times in my life, as far as I can remember, is The Fifth Element. I'm going to go ahead and say that that's another perfect movie. No, I'm going to take that back. There was parts of that were corny to me, but that movie is a movie that I never get tired of. I'm tired of it, but I don't ever need to stop watching it. Every time that's on TV, I just leave it on. And we're talking since 1990 fucking whatever, or 2000, whenever it came out. I've seen that movie at least 100 times, literally. And it just entertains me. And not only that, everybody that I know who has seen it, only has good things to say about it. All right. The final movie category for today is movies that I hate. Okay? And I'm just gonna plow through this. I'm gonna savor it. I'm gonna go through it nice and slow. I'm gonna roll through it quickly. I'm gonna get through it one way or another. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I'm looking at this fucking index card, and there's a lot written on here. Batman versus Superman. I fucking hate Batman versus Superman. Let me say that again. I hate Batman versus Superman. It is a pile of bag of diarrhea. Shit. Fucking alligator shit. Angry shit. Okay? I fucking hate that movie. I hate that they made that movie. It should have never been a thing. It was a bad idea from the start. It was somebody's fucking wet dream. Back when the comics came out, it's a bad idea. But without going there with it, the actual movie that they came out with is a fucking turd on top of another turd in a blender being fucking pureed with fucking vomit. It's garbage. It's fucking horseshit. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. That movie should have never been made. Okay. Just quickly, a couple things that my feelings on it. Number one, they ruined Man of Steel. Okay. Man of Steel was a good movie. I've heard a lot of people take a shit down the throat of Man of Steel. Man of Steel is a good movie. What it was setting up Superman. A lot of people don't understand that. It wasn't Batman Begins, it was Superman Begins, okay? Which is what the fucking problem, the main problem with Batman versus Superman is they went from Superman Begins to let's murder Superman. Let's just skip everything else and just go straight to murder Superman. And then they threw in Doomsday and Wonder Woman and Batman like for no fucking reason. This is what happens when money motivates your fucking project. When it doesn't come from like inspiration, when it comes from wanting box office numbers, when money is your motivation, you end up with fucking piles of steamy fucking pig shit like Batman versus Superman is. Okay. Man of Steel was a great movie. It was a good movie. Okay. It was a solid fucking movie. I really enjoyed the fuck out of that movie in the movie theater. I had one problem with it, and that was the fucking scene when Clark's dad dies saving a dog in a fucking tornado. That was fucking gay and dumb. Superman can move fast enough where he could have saved the dog and the dad when nobody was looking, and they wouldn't have even seen what happened. And then they could have pretended whatever happened. I hate that scene. His dad did not have to die for the story. And even if he did, they should have came up with a better idea than that. That was dumb. Saving the dog in a tornado. Come on, man. Fist yourself in the shower for that one. You deserve to feel what your fist up your asshole feels like. This is Superman we're talking about, and that was a fucking corny scene. Other than that, I love that movie. It set up Superman really nicely. It was setting up Superman. It was the beginning. It was Superman Begins. Then they went into straight from that to Batman versus Superman. They made Superman an asshole. Consider this mercy. Like, come on, man. Who the fuck wrote that? It was dumb. The whole Martha shit was dumb. That whole movie sucked. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. And the main problem that I had with Batman v Superman was that the whole premise of the movie was that Batman was pissed off that Superman fighting Zod broke the city and some innocent people got killed. Okay, number one, every fucking human war that's ever happened, innocent people got killed. A lot of times, innocent fucking people by the city, the numbers of fucking whole populations of fucking cities and states were killed on purpose in the name of war. Okay, so him being that outraged by the fact that a brand new young Superman who didn't know shit about shit, who was fighting an opponent who was superior to him, honestly, and had no idea how to handle it, was lucky to have survived, and then on top of it, the bad guy announced to the world on every fucking television in the world in Man of Steel, I'm the bad guy and I'm going to fucking murder you all if you don't hand this motherfucker over. Like, he flat out said that he was the bad guy, and Batman saw Superman fighting that bad guy and still decided, I'm going to murder this motherfucker. Fuck this shit. That made no sense. It made zero sense, and I hate the movie. I fucking hate Batman versus Superman. I'm going to get off that because I'm a comic book movie fan. Those are movies that I will pick apart because I'm such a fan. They ruined a franchise with that. They fucking ruined Superman with that. They ruined Batman with that. And another fucking number one, we don't need another Batman movie. We've had 88 Batman movies, so fuck everybody who says that they're excited for another Batman movie. You know how many fucking Marvel and DC characters there are? I'm sorry. I love you. Stay. Be a fan. Not a fan. Stay. Just be here with me. Be with me. Just don't go away. Stay. I'm sorry if you like Batman. Didn't you like Deadpool? You see what I'm saying? There's a lot. Don't you want to see Cable? There are a lot of superhero movies to be made, and everybody still wants another Batman. Come on. Anyway, Batman versus Superman. What else did I want to say about that? Because, yeah, and Batman was just, fuck that. We're going to murder that motherfucker. He killed innocent people. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Poorly conceived, poorly written, poorly acted. A poor movie. I give that movie a fucking F-. I don't give a fuck if there were scenes that look good. It was tainted by the fact that it was in existence in the first place. Also, by the way, if you don't know the story about Doomsday, go watch a YouTube video about the story about Doomsday. The story about Doomsday is a fucking dope ass story. In my opinion, I would have watched an entire movie about Doomsday. And the way that they did it was perfect. When Doomsday showed up on Earth, he wasn't created by Lex Luthor or Lex Luthor's son or whoever the fuck that was supposed to be in that. He showed up. He crash landed on the Earth with one of his arms tied up. He only had one arm free. And this motherfucker was so powerful that he fucking beat the shit out of the entire Justice League with one arm. And then he killed Superman, but Superman killed him at the same time. Okay, it's a really fucking good story, the way that they wrote Superman in the Doomsday in the comics. That should have been its own fucking movie. And by that time, Superman was an established character. He wasn't brand new like Man of Steel. Okay. Another movie that I fucking absolutely hate and is a piece of shit is Suicide Squad. It's a pile of shit. It's a huge, gigantic pile of shit. The bad guy was a witch woman who I still don't understand why she was fucking twerking, and that was like she was she was standing in front of a giant beam of light with rocks floating around it, and they were like, "What the fuck are you doing?" She's like, "I'm building a machine, baby," and she's fucking twerking. Not twerking. I don't know what the fuck she was doing. She was doing the Macarena, and that was what released her witch powers. The movie is dumb as fuck. Everything about it. I hate it. I don't even want to talk about it. Except the only other thing I'm going to say about that is that the Joker should have either not been in that movie at all or should have been the main villain of that movie. That's who the Suicide Squad should have been fighting, or he should have not been in the movie at all. He was totally distracting. I know that that dude from 30 Seconds to Mars put his whole fucking shit into that. I wasn't feeling his version of the Joker at first, but I would still be willing to see like the whole thing that he did for it. Maybe he did something decent. The dude from 30 Seconds to Mars, whatever his fucking ass is, whatever his fucking ass name is. I can appreciate what he tried to do. He looks like he really fucking went in on that character. I'd like to see the whole thing of what he did. We only got like a snippet, which was dumb. The movie was a piece of shit. The movie was a piece of shit. That movie is a piece of shit. Margot Robbie can do no wrong. I just want to put that out there, though. Not only was she sexy as fuck, she always looks good. She's a good actress. She did her thing. I appreciated everything that she did in that movie. But not only that, but I saw a chick dressed up as her at the Comic-Con near where I live, and she can't take credit for that. That's the character. But this chick was dressed up just like she was dressed up in the movie, and I was like, damn, you look good. And it reminds me of Margot Robbie in that movie. Margot Robbie is, she's a beautiful woman. Sorry. The final movie that I want to talk about today is another huge pile of shit that ruined the track record of the two movies that came before it, and it is called Star Trek Beyond. Star Trek Beyond is dumb on every level. I like Simon Pegg. He was the guy from Sort Your Life Out, Mate, the zombie movie, whatever the fuck it was called. The British zombie movie. I don't remember what it was called. And everything else. He's been in a lot of shit. And the Star Treks. And he wrote on this one, I believe I heard or read somewhere. And I didn't appreciate this movie at all. It pissed me off completely, from the dirt bike that fired up after sitting for 150 years or whatever it was on a dusty fucking planet with what gas in it. Yeah, 150-year-old gas don't start. To them using Beastie Boys music or whatever it was to destroy the bad guys' spaceships. I don't have much to say about that. Don't spend any money watching Star Trek Beyond. Don't waste any brain power watching that piece of shit. Don't support it. I really liked the first one. The first new. I'm talking about the three new movies that came out with Chris Pine. Chris Pine as what's his face? Yeah, fuck, that movie bummed me out so bad. It was just so bad. Oh my goodness. All right, more energy. Back in it with you. Oh, by the way, a couple shows that I love. If you watch TV and you're looking for some new shows to watch, like a friend of mine at work just asked me the other day, hey, I need a show to watch. I got you. If you like science fiction, watch The Expanse. It's on the Sci-Fi Channel. It was good from the beginning, and it's just getting better every fucking episode. It's about way in the future in space. Mars has already been settled by people. Earth obviously has people on, and then in between it, there's an asteroid belt or something where people are born and live and mine for minerals that they mine for Earth and Mars. Earth and Mars are in constant, not war, but strife. Just political bullshit. Who gets more of the minerals mined in the asteroid belt? People who are born and work on the belt are called belters, and they have their own set of problems. And there's a whole lot of political shit that goes on, and there's aliens, and there's fucking war, spaceships, sex, love, cussing, fucking crazy crystals that grow through people's eye sockets, people getting their heads blown off. There's fucking all kinds of crazy shit in the show, and it just keeps getting better. I just watched an episode today. The Expanse is a great show. If you've never seen, I'm not talking about the movie, I'm talking about the show, Fargo. There's 2 seasons of it. A+. Both seasons of Fargo are A+. If you've seen the movie and think you know what the show's about, you don't. Both of these shows they're separate from each other. They have nothing to do with that movie. Billy Bob Thornton is a major actor in the first one. He fucking crushes. In the second one, who's in the second one? Oh, the dude from that horror movie about the haunting. What there was a part 2 of a really famous haunting true story exorcism movie that just came out recently. The white man main star of that is in the second season of Fargo, and Key and Peele are in one of the seasons too. Both seasons of Fargo are fucking great. Watch them. I promise you won't be disappointed. I tell people about Fargo and they think of the movie and they're like, I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed. If you didn't see the series called Preacher, you should go back and watch the whole first season. The second season is going to be coming out this year, I believe, and you'll be blown away. It's not like anything you've ever seen before, I promise. It's an adaptation of a what do they call that? A graphic novel, I believe. Yeah, I'm 100% sure. Seth Rogen is involved with it. They fucking kicked ass. It's great from beginning to finish. Preacher. If you have Amazon Prime, Amazon came out with their own original series called Mad Dogs. If you start to watch that show, you watch the first episode, you will be addicted immediately. And you'll watch the whole season. I guarantee. I just told my buddy at work about it, and he watched the whole fucking series immediately and wanted more. And the problem with it is, I don't think enough people watched it, and Amazon didn't go forward with a second season. If we get more people in, leave reviews and shit, or just views of it, maybe they'll do a second season. Check it out. Let me know what you think. I guarantee you're gonna like it. It's fucking phenomenal. And that is all I have to say about that. Next topic, and my favorite, all-time champion beauty. All right, so today's all-time champion beauty, a woman who's famous, who has caught my attention and has held it since I first saw her. Thandie Newton is one of my favorite all-time champion beautiful women on television. I first noticed her in the movie Flirting, which was like fucking back in like 1990, 80, whatever. Way back in the fucking day. She was young as hell. And she caught my attention. I was like, wow. I was fascinated. Watched that movie a bunch of times. It's not even that great of a movie. It's about an ugly dude who gets this gorgeous little fucking broad in school. Whatever. I challenge you to watch Mission Impossible 2 and tell me that in that movie, Thandie Newton does not jump off the beautiful scale. Okay, that she is not beyond beautiful in that movie. Like they even make it a point in the movie. Like the bad guy who knows that she's betraying him, and his henchman says, dude, you know that she's full of shit. He says, yeah, man, but like, look at her. Like, can I just fucking enjoy her for a little while? Like, she's that beautiful. Not just to me. In general, in life. If you know her, you know she's gorgeous. All right, and then watch the Chronicles of Riddick that she's in. And tell me that if you were her husband in that movie, which was the dude from, his name was Vago, I believe. But he's the dude who also played in Star Trek. Look at how that connected. As the doctor, was it Nimoy or McCoy or whatever? He was played in Dread, which is another perfect fucking movie. She was his wife in that. And tell me if you watch that movie and you were Thandie Newton's husband in that movie, tell me that her fine ass wouldn't have inspired you to try to take the throne for yourself, just like she inspired him. What she was doing would have worked on me, just like it worked on him. Put it like that. And then watch the series Westworld, which is another series, if you haven't seen it, is great. Even though I talk shit on Anthony Hopkins needing to retire, Anthony Hopkins was masterful in that fucking show. and I'm glad that he was in it. And Tandy Newton was in it, and she was naked as fuck most of the time in that movie. And watch Westworld and look at Tandy Newton and tell me that to this day, at 45 years old, after having like 3 or 4 kids or whatever she's had, that she still doesn't look perfect naked. Unless it's, I don't know, maybe they CGI'd her body up or something. I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, Tandy Newton, one of the most beautiful women ever. And with that said, I'm going to wrap this episode up as I'm tired and I'm drunk and it's the middle of the fucking night. And thanks for being here with me. Episode number 4. I'm going to keep this rolling twice a week. First 4 are in the fucking bag, baby. I love it. Don't forget to like the show on iTunes. Pick up the book on Amazon and Kindle. It's called These Ones Are Mine. Spread the word to your friends about the show on social media. Hit me up on social media on Facebook. Be good. Take care of yourself. Always help other people. Check you next time. Oh, don't forget to send me an email if you want to win some free swag. Just say I want to win some free shit. Peace.